kindly stay away from the barricades. Everyone is requested to stay away from the barricades. Don't sit near the barricades. You are requested to sit away from barricades. This is to remind you again that any nuisance caused will lead to the cancellation of Student General Elections 2024. We expect full cooperation from your side. You can encourage the candidate, clap, no hooting, no noise. Kindly cooperate. No one is allowed to stand from their own places. Shh. No one is allowed to stand from their own places. If you stand and move around, you will be thrown out of this building. You are requested to cooperate. Will not hesitate to throw you out of this building. Nobody is allowed to get up from their places. A kind request to security personnel. A kind request to security personnel. If you see anyone standing, moving around, creating nuisance, kindly throw that person out of this place. Switch it on. We will not be starting until everyone is seated in this. Everyone, please be seated.
Good evening, everyone. We'll officially begin our last soapbox for today, which is for the post of Hostel Affairs Secretary. I request both the candidates to come be seated on stage. Before beginning, I would like to make an announcement. Everyone sitting in the middle of the staircase, move away from the barricades. Also make sure that while you're cheering or asking questions, don't stand up. If you stand up, we will not hesitate to ask you to leave. So
Sure.
here we have the Executive Council members, spearheads in course, and here we have students. Okay, so we'll begin the soapbox. I will give you some general guidelines about the soapbox. So, the candidates will begin by giving a presentation for about 7 to 8 minutes, after which there will be a cross-questioning round. Each candidate can ask 3 questions and a total of 2 follow-ups, and they can answer for the direct questions for 2 minutes and for the follow-ups for 45 seconds. After that, we will move on to a very small, short SCCC questioning round. After that, we will move on to the EC Executive Council members and the spearheads in course. They will get around 50 to 55 minutes to ask the questions, and we will move on to students. Okay, so I think Akhil, you came first. So you can decide when to go, first or second. You'll go first. So now you will present and then. Yeah.
What's up, guys? How's the Josh? I am Akhil Marni, a third year undergraduate from Electrical Engineering Department, contesting for the post of Hostel Affairs Secretary. My vision for the spear is fivefold. Ascend the spear reputation, knitted transparency, hone hospitality, improvising facilities, and leveraging technology. Now coming into my manifesto, it is divided into 5 parts. Going with the first part, digitalization drive. I'm introducing a HAS official WhatsApp chatbot through which students can raise complaints directly. I am also making the entire process of purchasing mess coupons integrated with iCollege. Also, the entire process of sick food delivery will be made online. Coming to my next part of my manifesto, my first initiative in this part is introducing tea time snacks in the mess menu. Also, I'm introducing an offer week in HFC facilities. Right now, there is very less awareness among students about Hasphere. So I am planning a Hasphere Fest, the food carnival, to increase the awareness among students. I am also introducing a night canteen at Vinja Mess Hall to satisfy the late night cravings of students near Girls Hostel Zone. I'm introducing the extra subscription plans for people who purchase extras regularly. Coming to the next part of my manifesto, my first initiative in this part is introducing a night eatery near Mandakini Hostel to satisfy the late night cravings of students in Jamuna, Ganga, Alakananda and all the tower hostels. Coming to my next initiative, I'm introducing a sports facility in the campus. Right now, there are a lot of sporting events that happen year long, but there is no proper facility to buy this equipment. I'm also planning to expand the girls' student facility to accommodate more students. Coming to my last part of my manifesto, I'm introducing PG representation in both the teams of my Haspire, MMCC and CMJFS. The views and expectations of both PGs and UG students differ a lot when it comes to food. And I'm introducing a mess ranking system through which students are able to view the best performing messes in the last month. Coming to the health and hygiene, I'm introducing smokeless incinerators in all girls' hostels. Also, to encourage sustainable practices, I'm introducing drop-off centers in all hostels to encourage students to donate the digital and stationery things which they won't use regularly. Coming to my credentials, I have been the core of mess monitoring and controlling committee where I enacted leadership. Also, I am part of Sarang and Shastra where I showed my execution and management skills. If you share my vision and resonate with my manifesto, please do vote for me. Thanks a lot, guys.
I request everyone to keep silent when the candidate is presenting so we can listen to them, if you want to listen to them. Dikshita, you can go next.
Check. Hello, NC Janta. I see some wonderful Josh out there. Holistic in approach, accessible to the students, sustainable in operations. With this vision in mind, I, Dikshita Bandaru, a fourth-year undergraduate from the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, set out to contest for the position of Hostel Affairs Secretary. Now, let me walk you all through my manifesto. My manifesto is a 5-fold manifesto broadly classified into messes, facilities, sustainability, hostels, and for the students. To begin with, under messes, I have 7 initiatives planned. The first one being online food court, wherein I plan to initiate a seamless digital pre-ordering system to reduce the wait time for the students, especially during peak hours. Second point, midnight food court is aimed at extending the operational hours of the Nilgiri food court to provide more midnight dining options to the students. Mess hall revamp aimed at the comprehensive reimagining and restructuring of the existing mess hall aesthetics to elevate your overall dining experience. Cuisine Quest is an initiative in which we will be designating one special day in each mess period to try out cuisines that are not existing, so that is going to be different from the veg or non-veg or the south and north menus existing currently. Athlete subscription is again focused to enrich the dietary requirements of our sports people and fitness enthusiasts. Through this subscription, we're planning to introduce protein-rich and other nutritional specific mess extras to the people, and this will be on a subscription basis. NutriTrack is an initiative in which we're planning to incorporate the TUV and nutritionist inputs to ensure that our mess food is not compromising on the health factor, at the same time doing its best in terms of ensuring best taste. And this also includes the installation of a BMI calculator, so that we're also focusing on improving the overall health of our students. Mess Ki Baat is an initiative, is a one of its kind initiative, wherein we will be installing monthly interaction forums, and these will be live interaction forums between the students and the concerned MMCC team members and stakeholders, wherein the team members will be sitting in each of the mess dining halls, gathering the inputs and suggestions from the students. Under facilities, I have proposed for GSFC vertical expansion to ensure that we're addressing the space concession issues in the best possible way. Foodomania again focuses on increasing the number of kiosks located in the hostel zone, and these will be specially focusing on the midnight and breakfast options, and on a budget-friendlier side to be noted. HFC ambience revamp is again focused on improving your food court dining experience by improving the existing infrastructure in the food court to create a more inviting atmosphere. Celebration corners is again a point focused on the sustainability and environmental friendly of nature of our celebrations, wherein I will be establishing designated celebration corners in the HFC and facilities elsewhere, in order to ensure that your celebrations are going on in a sustainable, and also ensuring that we have not compromised on the grandeur aspect of it. CMJF's open houses are again initiated to foster an open dialogue between the concerned CMJF's authorities and the students. Under sustainability, I have planned to streamline the donation drive processes by ensuring to conduct biannual drives at the beginning and the end of each semester, and the goods collected so in this process will be ensured to reach the last mile and ensure that they've been put into use again, because I believe sustainability is not about discarding the things that you don't use anymore, but ensuring that it's being used again and again until it goes into the earth. Sustainability Summit will stand as a flagship event for the Sustainability Committee, ensuring that there is increased awareness regarding the sustainability aspects, and we're also collaborating with the concerned industry aspects so that the knowledge and expertise of our students is put into the right use. Sustainability Marathon again focuses on year-long events and competitions.
Dikshita, you have 2 minutes more.
In collaboration with TechSoc in 180 DC, wherein we will be giving students to come up with solutions for real-life sustainability problem statements. In hostels, I am focusing more on ensuring that all the hostels are on a level playing field when it comes to the amenities and facilities that they have, by ensuring each and every hostel has all the required facilities and amenities. iCollege Room Tracker is again ensured to reduce the chaos that happens especially before each semester by making sure that your room occupancy status is continuously updated on iCollege. And finally, for the students, being the concerned person about each and every student's welfare in the hostel zone and campus, I am planning to reinstate one-meet sessions, which are a typical offline wellness meetings aimed at bringing wellness to your doorstep rather than expecting you and coming and seeking the wellness. And finally, the initiative One Stop Space tries to integrate all the existing services of the Haspir into Insti Space, which is becoming the popular students app. And before I end my presentation, I would like to reinstate that this is Dikshita Bandaru from the Spear and here to stay for the development of the Spear. Thank you.
Now we'll move on to the cross-questioning round. So Akhil can ask 3 questions to Dikshita and you have a total of 2 follow-ups. She can answer the direct questions in 2 minutes and follow-ups in 45 seconds. Okay?
So, coming to your third point in your manifesto, the athlete subscription, I have read your feasibility report. So, what subscription exactly are you bringing? What I have understood from your feasibility report is, you have just added few extras to the existing menu and call it a subscription. What exactly are you implementing and how is your plan of implementing?
So, first of all, I'm really sorry for your poor understanding about my feasibility. So, by subscription, I mean to say that there will be a monthly subscription or a mess period basis subscription wherein the people who are concerned about their fitness and their nutrition intake will subscribe to this. And in addition to their existing mess meals, they will be provided the required protein-rich and nutrition-rich, food items.
Coming to my first follow-up on the question, you have mentioned few items like sandwich peanut butter and smashed sweet potatoes. When I talked with the caterers, they have explicitly mentioned that these extras are not at all feasible, either because of their shelf life or less procurement in less quantities. Have you talked with the caterers?
So, regarding the feasibility, we have discussed with the MMCC course, we have discussed with X course, and we have discussed with the people who have also had the idea of this, right? And they said this is feasible. And with respect to the caterers, this will be put in the mess tender coming up. So, if a particular item is not feasible, then that will be removed. But let me remind you that these menu has been put to give an idea to people as to what constitutes a protein-rich or nutrition-rich food.
Also coming to your second point, midnight food court. Have you personally met the vendor and talked with him regarding this? If so, do you know that this is already happening?
We have spoken about this feasibility to CCW chairman and the up to CCW chairman CCW or chairman OHM. Yeah, that's what. We've spoken about the feasibility to them and we've spoken about the feasibility to the vendor itself. Both of them have agreed and again this will be put forward in the upcoming mess tender. No, I spoke to him over call. It was over call.
So coming to my last question. Regarding the online food court initiative you have mentioned, online food court, you have mentioned that this will reduce the waiting time of students. I agree that this will reduce the ordering time for the students, but do you think this will reduce the food preparation time for the caterers? Because right now, the main reason for the long queues is not the ordering time, it's the food preparation time.
Thank you for that question. So this initiative is planned to reduce both the food preparation time and the waiting time for students. Let me walk you through the process. So as and when you place the order, the second pop-up will be about when do you want your food preparation to start. So this will give a leeway for the vendor or the caterer to plan the food preparation accordingly. And the third step is to ensure that the delivery time slot is also fixed so that you will come and pick your food at the concerned delivery spot. And the number of orders per this spot is also fixed so that there is no hustle bustle regarding this or there is no stress on the vendor or the students.
So my last follow-up. Regarding this initiative, did you consider the space constraint for the caterer? Also, the extra staff he has to employ? When I talked with the caterer regarding this, he has explicitly told me that you haven't met him and taken his feasibility. Also, he clearly stated that it's completely not feasible for him, either the management perspective or the business perspective.
So this is about the midnight food court or online food court? Online food court. Why is it not feasible for the caterer when the number of registrations and the orders that he will receive will still remain the same?
Now we'll move on to the next candidate.
So my first question for Akhil Marni, you is that, first of all, do you know how incinerators work and what do you think are the advantages and disadvantages compared to what is happening currently?
So, regarding the first question, I know how incinerators work. So, bringing the system, so right now the present system of dustbins is very unhygienic. I talked with all the hostel managers. The main difficulty here is the students face difficulty in putting the sanitary pads in the dustbin. Also the housekeeping staff who pick up the sanitary pads face difficulty in removing it. So the incinerators that we are introducing will make the process easy for students and the housekeeping staff.
So, I take the privilege to enlighten you in this regard because after listening to your statements, I can clearly see that you have not taken any feedback from the girls themselves. And I believe, and a lot of girls I spoke to believe, that the system of incinerators is extremely non-user friendly. I'll tell you why. Because I'll tell you why it's non-user friendly, because the insert holes of these incinerators are extremely small and uncomfortable for the students to put in their used sanitary napkins and to wait until this is properly gone inside for incineration. There have been multiple instances wherein the incinerators have stopped working because of the used sanitary napkins getting stuck in the incinerators. And this is the reason why the existing incinerators have been removed from the girls' hostels and have been replaced with foot tap dustbins, ensuring that there is proper disposal of these machines, because I'm pretty sure that you're unaware that the current system using foot tap dustbins, all of these sanitary napkins are taken to the Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board, and there is an organization called Rentocal India Private Limited that takes care of the scientific disposal of these machines. So this is much more user friendly, and whatever you're proposing is extremely non-user friendly. And regarding my second question again, and regarding my second question to you, I am again extremely proud of myself that I was able to give a few points for your manifesto, thanks to the 5-day advantage that you got. In your manifesto, there was a mentioning about night canteen, right? Do you identify the possible bottlenecks in this, and do you even know that this was supposed to be done in your tenure and was not done because of a certain issue, which when I approached CCW, the chairman of OHM, he's mentioned that this was stopped. This has been taken until the signing stage but have been stopped because of one specific reason. And what was the solution that you as a core member have given for this? So, regarding your night canteen point, one thing is that, do you identify the potential bottlenecks in this, and do you even know that this was something that was supposed to be done in your tenure but have been stopped for one specific reason, right? Has been stopped for one particular reason. What and how was the exact feasibility for this was obtained? I'll ask my follow-up next.
So regarding the night canteen, I have taken feasibility from the Argora's manager. And the first part of your question you have asked, the hindrance from the administration side, there is no hindrance right now in the initiative which I am planning. There is no second agreement needed for the night canteen I am planning. And regarding the feasibility, the caterer agreed to do this initiative. He told there is no hindrance in doing the initiative.
So my follow-up is exactly about this. Do you know how this hindrance was exactly solved so that this point could land in your manifesto? Do you know how this exact hindrance was addressed so that this point could land up in your manifesto?
Again, as I have said, I have taken the proper feasibility from both CCW chairman and the Argora's caterer. Again, for the initiative which I have put in my manifesto, there is no hindrance. I have taken proper feasibility.
Just a clarification to the GSB. The hindrance was about having the legal hindrance about having two agreements, okay? Which again is disregarding and is an absolute wrong point. So regarding my third question, the third question regarding evening snacks, it's a good initiative. Even I had the same point for my manifesto, but I had to remove it due to some feasibility issues, and I'll explain what they are. Yeah. So, how exactly are you planning to give live snacks without an increase in the prices? Because whoever I spoke to has outright said that this cannot be done without an increase in the existing mess price. And referring to your feasibility that you mentioned in your feasibility report, page number 10, 8th point, last paragraph, have you looked at the operational aspects of the same? I'll have my follow-up next.
I really appreciate your efforts for asking me this question. Regarding the feasibility, I have clearly mentioned in my feasibility report. I hope you could have read it thoroughly. And it's completely feasible. I talked with all the caterers.
One of the caterers that you mentioned in your feasibility, SGR, has outright said that despite the MMCC team being behind him for this, he has not agreed to do so. And how are you expecting that the people will go to the messes just by replacing the current biometric scanners with facial recognition scanners? This is just a change in the technology which really won't impact the student behavior regarding to messes.
This will be the last question in the cross-questioning section.
I hope you are not aware of the current biometric system, how it works. The current biometric system doesn't record attendance. So the new technology with the CCW is bringing, the facial recognition system, it records the attendance. Because of the attendance recording system, there is no need of signatures. So the caterers won't lose any money. Because of the money which the caterers are losing right now, this will be compensated in the snacks.
Okay, so we're done with the cross-questioning round. Now we'll take around 5 to 6 minutes for the SCCC questioning. I'll ask both of you guys some questions. So I'll start with something very subjective. You can decide who will go first. What are some of the changes you want to bring to your existing Hostel Affairs Secretary rule book?
Regarding the changes, I feel the Hostel Affairs rule book right now has been modified last year and it's pretty good right now.
Again, I stick that the rule book doesn't require any change at this point because I personally worked along with the current HAs on improving or modifying this rule book.
Okay, one procedural question. Can Executive Council members vote in SLC meetings? Can Executive Council members vote in SLC meetings?
No, the Executive Council doesn't vote in the SLC meetings.
I believe the only HLs and DLs will vote in the SLC meeting.
Again, one very subjective question. Do you think there should be women representation in SLC? Reservation for women, kind of like we see in India. Do you think there should be women representation in SLC?
Just clarifying, are you mentioning about representation or reservation? I kind of don't see a point in asking this question because there is already representation in SLC and we women are capable enough to hold positions and to gain positions without even any reservation.
Yeah, I too believe the same thing. Also, there are few hostel HLs who are girls who are there right now in SLC. So I don't think that there is extra reservation needed for girls.
Do you know how many girls' hostels there are? Okay, so do you guys know or do you think there is a clause regarding circulation of minutes of meetings, of any meeting that you conduct in your sphere? Is there a clause regarding that? Can you clarify me on it? Is there a clause regarding circulation of minutes of meetings you conduct in your sphere? Is there a clause regarding that? Can you clarify? Do you have to circulate minutes of meeting? Yeah. Is there a clause regarding circulation of minutes of meeting? Clause in the constitution. Students' constitution.
I don't think there's a clause mentioning that.
There might be there, but I'm not aware of it. I don't see a clause.
To clarify, there is a clause that mentions that executive council members should circulate the minutes of the meetings they are having. So, now that you know, how do you plan to, materialize it? What are you going to do about it, now that you know about this? You plan to make sure that this clause materializes.
So, I feel it is the right of every GSB member to know what is happening with regard to our peer meetings. And this is one of the points that I've mentioned in vision as well, wherein I was mentioning that I will ensure that there is transparency in the work that I do and accessibility to the students in terms of the work that I do. So I'll take it as a personal responsibility and as a responsibility of the Hostel Affairs Secretary to ensure that all the required MOMs are circulated to the GSB.
So right now, in my tenure, all the MMCC meetings, all the minutes of those meetings are been uploaded. All the GSB can see it in the OHM website. The same thing, I'll ensure that all the minutes of meetings will be updated. All the minutes of meetings of HASPR will be updated.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the Executive Council members, peer heads and course questioning round. You guys have around total of 50 minutes to ask questions, so plan your questions accordingly and then we will move on to the students. Okay, so yeah, we can start.
Okay, so I want to start with Dikshita. So what are the mess prices currently for veg, non-veg and the credit amount for
Kalyan,
apps?
you're not audible. Can you say that?
Okay, so you can hear it? I want to start with Dikshita. What are the mess prices currently for veg, non-veg and credit amount for FC per day? Including tax.
Including?
Tax.
Okay. So for non-veg it is 141 plus GST, which makes up to 148. And for veg it is 135 plus taxes, which makes it 141 if I'm not wrong. And for FC, I believe the current credit amount is about 148 rupees per day.
For FC it is 142 as equal as veg. Okay. Yeah, okay. So for Akhil, how many number of facilities are there in HFC currently?
How many facilities in HFC?
How many eateries?
7.
Fine. So instead of your manifestos, I currently have your core applications. So what are the initiatives that you have mentioned for your core tenure and how many of them have you completed for both of you? Anyone can start.
So in my core application, I've mentioned something about integrating it with integrating CMJFS feedback and all with InstiSpace app, which we've been working upon. And I've also mentioned about the possibility of putting pop-up counters, which has also been happening.
There are more points that you have mentioned. Okay, fine.
One point that I have mentioned in my core app was introduction of a checklist, MMCC checklist, which I have implemented right now. I am not sure of the other points which I wrote in my core app.
Okay, again for both of you.
Can everyone please keep silent so we can hear our HAS speak? Please.
Okay. Can you name the insurance company and the TPA who is currently there with CCW? Anyone, again, anyone.
So the TPA is Vidal and the insurance is SBI General.
Is it true, Akhil? Is it true, Akhil? Akhil.
So, the exact question you have asked is the insurance provider and the third party administrator. Yeah, Vidal is the third party administrator and SBI General is the insurance provider.
Okay, do you guys remember the premium by any chance? Premium that students pay.
Sorry?
Premium amount that students pay.
I guess it's around 2000. I'm not sure of the exact amount.
2000 per year or per semester?
Per semester.
It is 2,300 per annum and not semester.
True. Okay, so mention few works that you have done in your core tenure of your respective sphere.
Can the audience please keep silence? Can the audience please keep silence? I request the security personnel to make sure that the audience keeps silence. Election managers, please make sure that the audience keeps silence when the executive council members and candidates are speaking. Kalyan.
Okay, so rate MMCC, CMJFS, Sustainability Committee and all the works that happened apart from these committees in this tenure.
Voice is muffling a lot, Kalyan.
Okay, okay, fine. So I'm asking you to rate MMCC, CMJFS, Sustainability Committee and all the works that have happened apart from these committees in 2023-24. You have to rate them out of 5.
Out of 10. Yeah, so I would rate CMJFS an 8 out of 10 and I'll put that as first because there was a lot of things that were happening in the team this year with an addition of a lot of new facilities and a replacement of few others and streamlining the existing core work a lot more better. And I've given this optimum score because if, like any other team, there's a lot of scope of improvement in this committee as well. And MMCC again that I would rate an 8 out of 10 because there was a change in the menu, right? From the existing veg to non-veg. That was a great initiative again. And again, optimum score of 8 because I see a lot of scope of improvement in MMCC as well. Sustainability Committee, with the intent and the work that they've done, I would rate it 7.5 out of 10. Considering the work that it has done last year and the immense improvement that Sustainability Committee has shown this year. And other works done by the HIS himself. Okay. So, initiatives and the response in general, I would rate it 7 out of 10. Because, yeah.
Yeah,
Do
okay,
I have to
fine.
mention the reasons?
No, it's okay, it's up to you.
Okay.
So I'll start with I would rate MMCC 7 by 10 because the HASP are being very dynamic. All the complaints that come to us can't be solved because we get contradictory complaints every time. So we have tried our best to solve the complaints. Also, there are a lot of new things we have planned this year. We have planned and implemented this year, like introduction of non-veg messes. And right now, if you see, there are 11 caterers running in all 11 different halls. Previously, which used to be only 5 caterers. And coming to CMGFS, I would rate 7 by 10 because they have introduced one major initiative is the introduction of food trucks, which has solved the late night eatery problem. And coming to sustainability committee, I would rate them 8 by 10 because the sustainability committee, being the very new committee, it has tried a lot to increase awareness among the students and it has conducted lot of events. Still, it has scope of improvement. I feel a new team having this awareness. I really appreciate the work of the core. And coming to HAS, I would rate 7 by 10 because of the lot of initiatives like Geyser, RO, and as I told earlier, the Asphere being dynamic, there are a lot of problems still existing in the hostel affairs sphere.
Okay, a last background check. Are you aware of the biogas plant and vermicompost plants? If yes, where are they? Are you aware of biogas plant and vermicompost plant in the institute? If yes, where are they currently? Anyone can take the mic.
So the biogas plant is on the way to Velicheri Gate. Vermicompost plant. I believe it's near the Nilgiri mess.
I think the biogas plant is near the Nilgiri mess. Regarding the vermicompost, I'm not sure. I guess it is near Himalaya mess.
Both of you are wrong. Biogas is behind Himalaya. Vermicompost is behind Nilgiri. Okay, I'm passing on the mic. I'll come back again.
So my questions are for the both the candidates. Both the candidates. So can you specify the committee? So RAS and HAS are the members and SGS also. So that committee is very important to the research scholars. And what are the current issues are there in that committee regarding to the scholars respectively? And the adding to that, what is the stand about that committee? Are you an aspirant candidate of Hostel Affairs Secretary?
I guess the committee in which RAS, HAS and SGS are part of is Hostel Extension Committee, which takes care of extending the tenure of the research scholars when their graduation is completed. So the current issue, I think right now is the committee is, previously there used to be no restriction on the amount of stay the scholars used to be there. But right now, when the scholars completed their graduation, they have to take the permission from the Hostel Extension Committee regarding their stay.
What is the stand on the committee?
Regarding the stand on the committee, I feel it's essential because we have to have a track on number of students who are staying in the campus. And regarding the difficulty to the research scholars, I agree that it's causing a bit difficulty to the research scholars, but the CCTable chairman is very liberal to extend the extension if the cause is genuine.
Both the people, continue. You will also answer.
So, yeah, like has mentioned, it is the Hostel Extension Committee, and the primary difficulty is again about the time period of extension that the research scholars are getting. And the primary problem that I identify is that rather than addressing all these issues collectively, I feel that every extension case should be dealt individually because these scholars come up with a different set of issues and they come up with different problems.
What is the stand on that committee?
So yeah, I propose certain changes like rather than ensuring collective decisions about the extension period, I feel that the extension period should be dealt on a case-to-case basis because these scholars come up with different issues.
I'll do that. I'll give it to you. So, I read your manifestos and your feasibility reports. You people are not mentioned about anything. How you want about how you are asking the votes from the research scholars. And there is no feasibility about this also. Then what you wanted to do for the scholars? This is the primarily and important problem for the research scholars. And other thing, so if it is this type of things are there, currently think now only. I'll give 1 minute of time and propose your initiatives to solve the problems as a aspiring HAS. This is a follow-up question for both.
He wants to repeat the question. Can you repeat the question?
The question is, actually these people are not mentioned about anything about this committee because so many issues are there in the committee. So there is no feasibility, they are not taken from me as a RAS because that they told correctly the committee is, but they not took any feasibility. Are you really want the votes from the research scholars? And if you really want the votes from the research scholars, I will give you a 1 minute time. So what are the problems? How you wanted to solve the problems? Please tell me.
One more thing I would like to clarify, as Dikshita mentioned that case to case basis it should be handled. It is already handled case to case basis.
So, yeah, talking about initiatives for the PG people, I might have not explicitly mentioned the word PG in my manifesto or feasibility report, but there are certain initiatives that are definitely going to cater for the PG people, and I'll list them. The Midnight FC concept is again primarily for the PG people because it is these people who will be functioning in their labs or working in their labs all throughout the night. And the addition of more kiosks is again going to serve the purpose for a lot of PG people. And yeah, the sustainability summit is again going to have like a lot of participation from the PG people because there have been departments and there have been a lot of labs that have been extensively working on the aspect of sustainability, and it is the work of these people that is going to come into the limelight with the initiative called Sustainability Summit.
Akhil, now your turn for answer.
Regarding the initiatives for PG people, all the points I have mentioned in my manifesto will be benefited to both UG and PG people. Coming to PG people, I have explicitly mentioned 2 points in my manifesto, which is including the PG representation in both MMCC and CMGFS and introduction of a new cycle mela exclusively for the PG people.
So, okay. So, I think you are not understood or not, I don't know. Actually, I asked about the committee things. So, what are the problems are there? What are the initiatives you wanted to do? But you both the people are failed for giving the answer. Okay. Going to my second question. So, present students in the institute, so they are satisfied with messes or not satisfied with the messes. So, if they are not satisfied, how you wanted to revamp the messes through your initiatives and solve the problems? Both, everything both.
So, the one common point that I hear from any person that I speak to is regarding messes, because messes are a part of every hostel student's life and it is a necessity for every hostel resident and institute. So, most of the people that I spoke to have mentioned that there is a lot of scope for improvement in the messes, be it with respect to the combination of items being put or, the mess price or the taste, quality and quantity. And what was the second part of the question?
How you wanted to revamp to satisfy the people?
Yeah, like I already addressed, there is an extensive mess menu restructuring and reframing that I wanted to do.
Coming to the student satisfaction on the current mess hall, my take on this is there is no whole, we can't generalize students based on the satisfaction. There are some days on which students get satisfied because of the mess menu. Similarly, there are some days the same student who got satisfied will not get satisfied because of the mess menu. I feel without looking this point as a whole, splitting the entire problem into sub problems, and we can go solving case to case.
Okay, both the answers are, I think, whatever in your way it is feasible, you can do it. Still, I can say the like people are not satisfied. I can say now director also going to the messes and he wanted to finding out the mess problems. So, if you both, anyone is elected, please work out on this. This is my suggestion. Okay, going to third question. If you have a problem in
Can we
your...
move on to another person? We'll come back to you.
He has to go.
I have to go. One only. So if you have any problem in your respective verticals, so if someone is reported to your core, if your core is not responded, and what is the stake on that you, and what you will do with your, means like how you will respond to your core and how you respond to the who are reported that problem to solve that problem. Okay? Done.
So, if one of my core member is not performing well, I'll talk to him personally and know the main issue causing him to not respond to the problem.
So the process here is very simple. I care equally about my core team as much as I care for the GSB. So if something is not working well in my core team, I feel it's my responsibility to ensure and know what exactly and where exactly is the bottleneck coming up. And I'll ensure that if it's a thing that I can help my core with, I will definitely do that without any hesitance.
So actually in this current sphere, I'm not telling our cores are not working. I heard the problems, that's why I'm giving to you well and before. So you are the aspiring candidates. Please work on this. Thank you.
Okay. So I have two questions from both the candidates. I will start with Akhil first. So you wrote a point, I college for purchasing mess coupons. So my question is, are you not aware that this thing has already been passed in Warden Council's meeting previous, and it has been told that from next semester this will be implemented? Then why this is a manifesto point?
Regarding the digitalization of mess coupons, right now there is no progress in the digitalization of mess coupons.
It has already been passed in Warden Council's meeting. If you would have come to take feasibility from me, I would have told you. Then why you have mentioned this as a manifesto point?
This initiative has been first discussed in the MMCC meeting with the CCW Vice Chairman, and he has agreed for this thing.
Then why you have mentioned it as manifesto point? That means it has been implemented.
The initiative has been discussed because we have proposed it to the CCW Vice Chairman.
It has been completed. Then why it's a manifesto point? It has been done. Okay, so coming
If
to
you
my
remember, it's the same MMCC meeting. I guess you were present there.
the decision was there after that. That's what. It has been discussed with wardens, and then it was decided that this will be implemented. Coming to the second question, you have told evening snacks in all messes. Being a MMCC core, why you didn't implement this thing in current, like you were part during the tender committee. So it was a very simple thing. You could have done during the tendering process while implementing biscuits and toast. That point of time, you could have added it as an add-on. Because if you will go for tendering again, and as per the current plan, CCW is not planning for re-tendering, then how you will be bringing it as something new?
Regarding the introduction of snacks, I guess we have discussed the same thing before the tendering process, but we have not gone for it because there's a possibility of increasing the price. Right now, the initiative which I am planning, I have clearly mentioned it in my feasibility report that there will be no tendering process, so there will be no price hike. We'll just modify the menu to include the snacks in it. The reason why there's no price hike, I have mentioned it in my feasibility report.
Okay, fine. Now my questions will be to Dikshita. So you have mentioned a point, iCollege room tracker. How have you mentioned this point and how it is beneficial to students? And will this be accessible to all the students? Like suppose I will be able to access like which room are you staying, something like that, or how exactly it is? What is your plan of action?
So this is primarily focused to make it easier for the students, because in my Gen Sec tenure, this has been one common problem that I was observing as and when there is a vacation and students are coming back. So the exact process is that currently the hostel managers will be updating the room occupancy status in an Excel sheet, and now this will be integrated and made visible to the students as well. So they will get to plan their return journey accordingly, return to the campus accordingly. This is purely to benefit the students and help them plan their return to campus accordingly.
Okay, so clarification, Dikshita. Every student has freedom to come to institute 1 week before the commencement of classes. Okay, so how is this point helping? Because every student has freedom. Yeah.
So this might be see, 1 week before the semester starts, students are obviously allowed to come, but there is no guarantee that they will be getting their own rooms, right?
Then you can complain to CCW. They
Okay.
should get the room.
But most of the times when it is given for temporary accommodation, it is the general scenario that the students are not getting their rooms, despite talking to CCW, despite talking to the hostel managers and hostel wardens also.
While room allotment, this is the responsibility and general secretary and the hostel manager to do make sure that before the student arrives, 1 week prior to that, the room is being cleaned and is available for the accommodation of the student. Then why hostel affairs secretary need to go to that much depth, micromanagement of the thing? I don't find this point as feasible.
So this is not micromanagement at all. This is for all the hostel residents. So we're not interfering into the internal affairs of any hostel here.
It is interfering in the internal affairs. Coming to your, okay, leave it. Next point, you have mentioned about man-meet sessions. Why this is a manifesto of hostel affairs secretary?
Because I do care about the wellness of my hostel
Wellness,
residents.
caring about the wellness is the responsibility of student general secretary. I am asking why this is a manifesto of manifesto point of hostel affairs secretary.
Wellness is no secretary's purview.
It is in the purview of the secretary.
See,
Why
Mr.
it is a, my simple question is why it is a manifesto point of hostel affairs secretary?
Because I wanted to take that extra care and special care about the wellness of my hostel residents.
As per your for your information, Ujjwal, INDR secretary has already posted a point in BOS that there should be a clear bifurcation among all the secretaries what works they are doing, and this is a proper clash with student general secretary. So I don't find this point as feasible.
See, one thing, it might be bifurcation in terms of the teamwork that does. That is the very reason that it was a collaboration with Mitra, which has nothing to do with the SGS.
So what you will be doing, what is the collaboration, what exactly you want to do? What will be the HAS Spear doing in collaboration with Mitra?
So, in collaboration with Mitra, we will be organizing these man-meet sessions, which are a typical offline meetings, offline wellness meetings, in ensuring the collective wellness of hostel people.
Okay, fine. I don't find that this is the purview of yours, but fine. Hi.
Just to note that you guys have around 20 more minutes left to ask questions.
Hi Akhil, hi Dikshita. We'll start off a very basic question first. Both of you have talked highly about sustainability committee that you have under you. So I wanted to know, are you aware of any 2 administration bodies that are working tirelessly for sustainability? Any one of you can start.
There is a School of Sustainability and there is Environmental Committee.
Fine, fine. There is a, yeah. Akhil, do you have anything to add?
Can you repeat the question?
I wanted to know whether you are aware of 2 administration bodies that are working for sustainability.
Yeah, the committees which I know is the environmental committee, which is working on the sustainability, and there's a new committee called reimagining committee,
I'm asking for the administration bodies. Okay, fine. Environmental committee is there. School of Sustainability is there. And there is IGCS, Indo-German Center for Sustainability, that is working specially for research based on sustainability. Okay, moving on to next question. This is again to both of you. Lately, the disciplinary committee has raised the fine that students had to pay in case of any disciplinary action. And also apart from that, students have discrepancies against the fine that they submit to the hostel bodies. So as a HAS, what will be your stand on the fees hike first? And second, how are you going to ensure that there is transparency in the fine that the students submit?
So regarding the increase in the vigilance fine, I don't exactly, agree with an increase in the vigilance hike leading to a decrease in the, type of malpractices or the vigilance practices that happen in the hostels. And to ensure transparency in the payment, see, it is already transparent enough wherein the amount whatever the students are paying, it is directly paid to the hostel account number and it is not being channeled elsewhere, and there is a clear mention of this in the HTC report.
Right, fine. The issue is the amount is being paid to the hostel account, but then the usage is not allowed to the hostel council.
Right.
So how are you going to ensure that the students can access it back?
Yeah. So this was one point again I've discussed with the chairman of OHM, Mallikarjun sir, about utilizing the amount whatever is received in this vigilance for the welfare of students. But he was not, agreeing to this amount being used for the student wellness. But I am an individual member now, but if I become the HAS, then I will definitely have a more standpoint in pushing this better further.
Great, you have any other?
Coming to vigilance, I feel that the main responsibility of the vigilance should be reducing the number of cases instead of fining more for the cases. Right now, more collection of fee is not at all reducing the number of cases. I feel instead of hiking the charge, there can be wellness sessions for the people who are indulging in these activities, which can reduce the number of activities being done.
Okay, fine. Okay, Akhil, I have a question for you. You are proposing a chatbot to collect feedback from students, which will either be built by students or outsourced, as per your feasibility report. How are you going to ensure that there is no data breach, since there has been a similar case in the past?
Regarding the data breach, I have talked to the vendor. Also, the same vendor whom I have consulted, lot of state governments are using the same vendor. So I believe that there won't be any data breach.
So, okay. Do you know what are the procedures if you want to onboard any consumer on a chatbot?
Sorry?
Do you know the procedure for onboarding anyone on a chatbot?
So, I have talked with the vendor. We'll outsource the chatbot. And regarding the data breach, all the chats that will happen will be end-to-end encrypted.
No, there is an important step wherein you have to take consent from the students who would be boarding on that. But fine. Yeah, last question to Dikshita. You have mentioned a point under miscellaneous section wherein you aim to raise funds from alumni. However, in the past, it has been case that donors have severe concerns about the utilization of the funds that they donate. So how, as a Hostel Affairs Secretary, can you ensure that the alumni have more trust towards IIT Madras in general?
So, yeah, I've mentioned about the point about pitching in for more alumni funding. So the way to build trust among the alumni that, this is whatever money that they've been sending has been utilized for the right purpose is to just communicate it back to the alumni. It's as simple as that.
The issue is there is already a donor stewardship team that takes care of the communication. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Yeah. So there is a donor stewardship team that takes care of in communicating with the alumni and as well as the IITM stakeholders over here. The issue lies in the admin process that we have over here. The fund is received, but then utilization takes a lot of time. So how, as an Hostel Affairs Secretary, can you fasten the process so that the alumni builds the trust? So that is the question. How can you help in speeding up the whole process?
So speeding up the whole process of utilization. Yeah. So as and when we receive the fund, we will put forward with the proposal for whatever changes that we wanted to make. And, we push for it and get it done and, communicate it back to them. I mean, I don't see a bottleneck in this process.
I mean, there are some bottlenecks, including the engineering units, and you have to bypass certain things to them. But
Yeah, that is
fine. An active
one-
involvement would help it.
Hi Dikshita and hi Akhil. So I've got 3 questions totally, one for Akhil, one for Dikshita and one comment. So first one's for Akhil. Akhil, you mentioned that you will be bringing in a sports shop. So it was in my manifesto, Kalyan's manifesto, and we couldn't do it. What different are you going to do to make it happen?
So for the past 1 year, the main constraint that is stopping the sports facility is the availability of space. Right now, if you see the space in hostel zone for bringing new facilities is very limited. Now, the old Gymkhana building, since the new Gymkhana building is being constructed, there is space available in the old Gymkhana building where we can introduce a new sports facility.
And do you think it will break even?
Sorry?
Do you think it will break even and be sustainable?
Yeah, regarding the break even, we have a plan of making sure that the vendor gets break even, which is all the Gymkhana budget, which is around 15 lakhs per year. All the equipment will be bought through this sports shop and an MOU will be signed. Regarding this, I have talked with the sports officer and Dost as well.
Okay. We can also make sure that hostels also can get this from sports shop and it will be a good initiative. So next question to Dikshita. So this is on your point, Nutri-Track. Interesting point. But I want to know whether if you had conducted any survey regarding this, because we do consult a nutritionist in my knowledge. So don't you think this high cost, budget for where only a small section of people get benefited?
Knowledge is never limited to a small set of people. So once you're making sure that you're giving the necessary knowledge to the people, you can never restrict that, it is going to benefit only a small set of people. The information is for everybody to benefit from.
Okay. Okay, fine. So a common question. I'm happy that both of you have put athlete subscription and protein-rich extras in your manifestos, but can you explain me a little bit more? How will this subscription look like, each of you? And what all item, like, that's fine, but how much discount are you going to give? And is there going to be any special discount for contingent members and probables?
Regarding the extra subscription, which I have mentioned in the manifesto, I have clearly mentioned that this extra subscription, students will be given extras at a subsidized prices. Regarding the implementation, we'll collaborate with ISS and we'll also talk with caterers regarding what extras the subscription should be given. And regarding implementation, I have talked with the CCW. This will be based on a monthly system where students will be given a card and it will be marked every time they take an extra. And the amount of discount on each extra will be again discussed with the ISS on the number of students who are willing to take the extra and the caterers on how much amount will they exactly get.
So regarding the athlete subscription that I have put, I've already explained that this is going to be an extra per meal apart from the existing mess menu that they will be getting. And to talk about the discount, in general, when we're planning to get in any caterer, we will obviously push for as lowest price as possible. So this will be done by default. And to talk about the special discount for the contingent and probables, since it is these people who will make use of it on a regular basis, unlike the fitness conscious or health conscious people, this will definitely be put as a special cost. And that can be promised at the tender period because we need to get a grasp of what exactly is the number of people that are subscribing for this. And the subscription will typically again be on a card basis, like there will be, the particular mess person will be, the person attending that particular mess will be, marked for the food items that he or she is receiving.
Hope this gets implemented. One more question to both of you. So, you had a point related to health, but both of you also mentioned you will be bringing in night canteens and selling junk food at night. Don't you think this will, already disrupt our Insti students' health and circadian rhythms? And you'll be contributing to, an unhealthy lifestyle of students.
Follow up to this. Don't you think bringing too many facilities inside the institute will have a problem?
Okay. So these are two different entities that we're looking at. One is the MMCC that takes care of the mess point of view, and CMJFS that takes care of the eateries. The CMJFS eateries that we're bringing in are no compulsion for any student to be used, right? We're just giving the arena of option to the arena of options in front of the students, and it is up to them to choose from it, right? And again, the options that we're planning to get are not too heavy on your tummies during the night time, and we'll also try to pitch in a few more millet options or healthy options in the menus that we're looking at, so that we're also compensating for the junk that we're putting in. The follow-up question, as and when there is an increase in the number of facilities, there will be a competition between the vendors for it, and that is exactly why CMJFS is existing, to make sure that this does not lead to any sort of malpractices.
Okay, this question is for Akhil. Just last two questions. One for each.
After this, we'll move on to spearheads,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then we'll wrap up by 12:30. We have to ask GSP to ask questions as well.
Akhil also has to answer. Akhil also,
So, regarding the introduction of night food stalls, again, it need not be serving junk food. We can also serve healthy food in the night canteens. Again, as Dikshita told, by introduction of night canteens, we are just giving the GSB an opinion to dine in what they want. Again, regarding the follow-up, obviously introduction of new facilities will increase the competition among the vendors and push them to perform well.
Okay, one more follow-up for this question. Don't you think bringing too many facilities will lead to decrease in customers and increase in prices?
So, we can work on the menu exclusivity thing, or keeping the menus limited will make sure that there won't be a much price hike in the facilities.
So the very better example I can give regarding this is the both food trucks. Once we've introduced the food truck and we got in another new food truck, the demand for the veg food truck still remained the same. So it is up to the students' choice as to what they are choosing.
Okay. So this question is for Akhil. So you have mentioned that you will bring a new night eatery near Mandakini Hostel. Is this going to be a food truck or a permanent stall there?
This will be the last question from Executive Council.
This is for Akhil. I have one more question for Dikshita, and that's the
Last question, and then we'll move on to
Yeah.
spearheads.
So regarding this, we'll work on which works better. As of now, I have taken feasibility for both. Dean Planning has agreed that we can put either a food truck or a permanent stall near the Mandakini area. So, based on the students' feedback and inputs from EU, we'll decide which will come.
Do you see any problem in bringing a permanent stall there?
Yeah, exactly. See, bringing a food truck will always have the flexibility to relocate it, but bringing a permanent stall don't have the same advantage. Also, bringing a food truck will also benefit the caterer because he'll only be paying half rent.
Okay. Last question to Dikshita. So Dikshita, you have mentioned that vertical extension of GSFC, right? So the reason also you have mentioned that because of the limitation that we have for the land. Okay. So if you think we have a limitation of 25%, which is almost like you mentioned that we have almost used 24.8. So how do you think they are constructing 6,000 capacity mess building in front of Mandakini then?
So the construction dynamic works in such a way that if we're building a building somewhere, we're compensating for it elsewhere. So whatever buildings that have been constructed have been well within the footprint, and that is the reason why we're not getting permissions for extra construction. Best example I can give about this is the common parking spaces that I was trying to pitch in. Since we're already going for this construction, they did not give me the feasibility to go for an additional construction.
Okay.
Hi Dikshita, this question is for the mess hall revamp. The thing is, I don't think we are the correct person to take the feasibility from. So can you explain about what are the work you want to do here and how it is feasible?
So you're telling that you are not the person to give this feasibility.
No, I am not eligible to give this. We might have discussed
Okay,
this thing, but I am not eligible to give a feasibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of the points related to messes have been discussed and taken feasibility from the current HAs and chairman of OHM or CCW. Does that answer the question?
So I have a question for Akhil. So the question, in the 16th point of your feasibility report, so you have written healthy competition among messes. So don't you think it might create already a competitive mindset? Like we are already going through RG process. You are an institute famous for RG process. Again, you are putting this thing from messes. So don't you think it will impact student in some way?
So the idea of putting the ranking system for messes is to increase the competition among mess halls. Again, for its impact on students, I have mentioned in my feasibility report that I will put 3 ranking systems, and the ranking systems will only, the idea of the ranking system is only to let the students know the performance of mess halls. We are not promoting the mess halls, or we are not asking the students to choose these mess halls only.
Hi, Dikshita, one thing I noticed in your manifesto is that most of your points are mainly focused on the food court. But what about the common mess halls? I mean, anything you have in mind about how to improve the quality of the mess and hygiene in normal messes?
So, yeah, there are points that are directly contributing to this and there are points indirectly contributing to this. One thing is regarding the quality issue, the students feel that whatever feedback that they have been giving to the team members has not been addressed properly. So the Mess Ki Baat session that I am planning to introduce will gather live feedback from the students, and if it's an issue that could be resolved on spot, that particular coordinator or the MMCC team member that is sitting there will resolve it right in front of the student's eye, reinstating the trust that the students have in the mess feedback that they're giving, right?
Again, follow up to that, so is this an event, open house forum kind of thing, or else will it be conducted in individual mess halls?
I told it will be conducted in individual messes. All the concerned MMCC stakeholders will be sitting in each of the mess halls.
Yeah. But don't you think that students who are complaining will approach you? Will come to that particular mess hall while giving complaint? So let's say a person is having a complaint, he has mailed it to you, but why do you believe that he will come to that mess hall at that particular time?
See, the students will go to any extent if they feel that whatever they wanted to do is not getting done.
Again, one thing, students are very busy with their lives that they could not.
They're very busy with their lives, and it is essential that, in compliance with their busy schedule, their necessities are also being ensured properly.
Fine.
So you are telling that you will make a session. Already, if a student is going for a mess, there is complaint register. Rather than writing in that complaint register during that time, he will come separately for a session and at that point he will tell that he has a complaint.
This is a clarification, right?
Like what is this point? I don't get it. Can you please explain why you have written this point? Already are processes, complaint register, online complaint portal. Then why this point?
This is not going to scrape off any of the existing feedback mechanism. This is an addition to the existing feedback mechanism. And this timing, whichever I was mentioning, is not going to be out of the mess meal timings, but it is going to be during the mess meal timings.
We have a schedule to follow, so now we'll move on to the students. We'll take one last question and then we'll move on to students.
Hello.
One last question.
First, I would like to ask Akhil. So, like, I want to know if you have read the handbook. So, what is the difference, like, the members' difference between CMGFS tender committee and CMGFS committee? Like, is there any difference, the number of members?
Yeah, there is difference between CMGFS tender committee and CMGFS. CMGFS tender committee will come into force when there's any decision.
No, wait. I'm asking the difference in members, like the stakeholders involved in tender committee meeting and the normal the CMGFS committee. Is there any difference, like the number of members?
Yeah, so the main difference is the chairperson of the tender committee is not the chairperson of the CMGFS.
No, they are part of both. The tender committee chairman is part of the committee as well as the tender committee.
Yeah, again, the chairman of tender committee is nominated by those. He need not be the CMGFS chairman.
So I'd like to clarify. There are three members who won't be part of the tender committee. That is Chief Medical Officer, Senior Horticulture Officer, and the Chief Security Officer. They won't be part of the tender committee. Okay, next is a common question to both of you. So, like, CMGFS and MCC both handles, like, the students are mainly, the student team is involved for inspection reports, right? So my question is, are the students really credible to inspect behalf of the GSP? Like, can they represent GSP? Like, do they have the sufficient knowledge to go and inspect? Like, can we make that more credible? Like, because in Shastra and Sarang, they have, like, the QMS, quality management system, have a separate QMS training for the that managers or supercards. So, like that, can we implement anything in CMGFS and MCC?
First of all, they're credible enough. That is why they're taken into the teams. Second of all, to back up what all inspections are being done by the students, we can get these team members trained by the concerned authorities in this peer. In the case of MMCC, we can get them trained by TUV, and in the case of CMGFS, we can get them trained, not exactly trained, but we can make them a part of FSSAI audit so that they get to inspect on what particular criteria that they should be inspecting a concerned facility upon.
Yeah, I agree that both MMCC and CMGFS team members are credible of doing inspections because that's the point of having both the teams. Again, there is some gap because inspection from a professional agency is always different from an inspection from student. That is why I put a point in my manifesto that I'll bring a third party inspecting agency for the CMGFS facilities as well, which is right now there in MMCC.
Okay, I'd like to give a suggestion. That is, there is this program called FOSTAC by FSSAI, which is Food Safety Training and Certification Program. So by doing this, all the students, the part of CMFS and MCC will be FSSS, that is Food Safety Supervisors. So you can implement this in your tenure. And one more thing is like the last question. So you have mentioned about GFC revamp. So like during this revamp, like I want a timeline when you want to revamp this and what exactly is your plan? Because I remember Ritik Khanna's manifesto.
The question, Chris. We have a schedule to follow. We
Just last question. That's it for both of them. So during Ritik's manifesto also there was a point that is GFC revamp. That is by having one more exit door for that. Like there's an entry and exit, both are common. He wanted to improve that so that it be a bit spacious. But that itself was not accepted by the dean planning because that zone is like the girls' hostel zone. It's like there's a lot of security involved. So how are you, like is this just a manifesto point or are you really going to implement this, the GFC revamp?
This is a manifesto point that I really want to execute, and that is why I put it in my manifesto. And to talk about the exact timeline, the proposal will be put forward as and when I get into my office as a HAS. And the further process follows such that the proposal will come from the CMGFS chairman, and then further be discussed with Dean of Students and Dean of Planning and will be forwarded to the Board of Planning. And whatever timeline and planning that it takes, we will try to push it as forward as possible.
So regarding the GSFC renovation, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to do this. This is not just a manifesto point. The reason why it did not happen in previous tenure was one of the reason that the footprint expansion. I proposed two feasible plans to Dean Planning without affecting the footprint. And one more thing which was not there in Ritik's tenure is the Dean Planning right now, Sardi sir, is willing to do it. So I feel this is not just a manifesto point.
Okay, so we'll take a few questions from students. Anyone this side? Okay, green shirt. Yes. You have one question, no follow-ups.
Okay, so Akhil, you mentioned one point regarding CMGFS week offer in your manifesto, but you only took feasibility from Istara manager. Do you realize there are other facilities under CMGFS? And also, you didn't mention any percentage which you'll offer to the students. And under Istara, one item would be around 70 rupees. So even if you give 10% discount, it will go till 7 rupees. So this initiative is not much helpful if it's not applicable to Zaitun and CCD.
So regarding the feasibility, I have first talked with the Istara manager Satya. I have also consulted the vendors. Regarding the exact number of discounts, it will be discussed based on the sales analysis of the Istara and feedback from the students. Can you repeat the last part of the question?
Yeah, there are other facilities under CMGFS from whom you did not take feasibility. And also, if this offer will be more applicable to CCD and Zaitun.
Yeah, so we'll start this offer week with Istara, with the HFC, then we'll extend it to the other facilities as well.
Do we have any questions from Middle Earth? Any questions? Okay, yellow shirt.
My question to Deekshita, you have mentioned that there is celebration corners. My question is, can you explain what are those places and how will you ensure the safety of wildlife and community?
The exact motive of putting this point was to ensure that the celebrations and festivities are moved further away from the ecologically sensitive zones like the black bug habitat near the SAC area and all of that, right? So the exact places will be inside Himalaya Food Court and the place below Ellora, beside Cafe Coffee Day. And I'm also planning to put one such corner in the existing ICICI hangout space. And as and when the HDFC hangout space also comes up, there will be one that will be put there as well.
Okay, hi Akhil, hi Deekshita. If you don't know, I am one of the ex-co's of MMCC. So there are few clarifications that I would like to give because I'm not part of the EC and core committee.
Can you make it fast and ask the question?
Yeah, sure. So clarifications. First thing, I clearly know that the Midnight FC, whatever points both of the have, it is clearly had a legal document issue at the beginning of the tenure of the next course, which the issue was that a same piece of mess cannot be in two legal documents. And then CCW chairman has clearly given a feasibility when Deekshita has proposed the solution because there have been two messes which have been operated from the same mess hall. So you have got to keep the point in your manifesto because of the feasibility that she has got. Okay, let me make this very.
Can you come to your question, please?
Yeah. And then I have talked to SCR because I'm one of the excos, being shocked of the point that you have promised students not to increase the prices of the.
Ma'am, please come to your question, ma'am.
Yeah. He has promised not to increase prices of the menu, and he has promised to provide live extras. So SCR has clearly mentioned that he has not given any feasibility. And my question is that, what are you indicating to the students by providing such manifesto on feasibility?
Fine. So regarding the clarification which you have given, I could have appreciated if you have read my feasibility report thoroughly. And coming to the question, I have talked with the owner of the SCR. She has given feasibility regarding this.
We can take one more question, one last question from the audience. One last question. Any more questions? Okay. So we'll wind up. That is one last question. Okay, fine.
My first question is to Deekshita.
How many questions?
In what ways do you intend to measure the effectiveness of sustainability marathon throughout the academic year? How do you ensure that it remains engaging and relevant to students of different disciplines?
How many more questions do you have?
One to each. One to each.
Okay.
So you were asking how will I ensure the.
I repeat, in what ways do you intend to measure the effectiveness of the sustainability marathon throughout the academic year, and how will you ensure that it remains engaging and relevant to students under different disciplines?
So the measure of effectiveness is the participation from the people. Does that answer the question?
See, it's how do you ensure that if they don't participate?
Being the #1 tech institute that we claim ourselves to be, do you think that the students here will not be interested in participating in 180 DC related events? Or if there is a possibility of them getting into the limelight for the solutions that they propose for the real life sustainability issues, do you think the students will back off from doing so?
Next question. Last question.
Okay, can you elaborate on the strategies that you intend to promote and maintain sustainability practices encouraged by the drop-off centers in every hostel?
Can you repeat the question?
Okay. Okay, how do you plan to ensure long-term sustainability of smokeless incinerators?
So regarding that, I have talked with the vendor. He agreed that he'll do regular services to the machines. And one more main thing is, I'll increase awareness among the students on how to use it. So make sure that they won't go off easily.
Do you know what is the problem? Like, why is it not sustainable in long term?
Yeah, one main reason is the students are not aware of how to use it exactly. And again, the maintenance issue is one long-term problem for the running of incinerator.
Next question. Last question, we'll wind up here.
Okay, last question for both of you. Hostel Secretary being one of the most underrated posts in Executive Council, why do you want to contest for this post, and how do you think you are good fit for this?
Kalyan, your voice was continuously muffling.
Okay, so Hostel Affairs Secretary being one of the most underrated posts in Executive Council, why do you want to contest for this position, and how do you think you are good fit for this?
How long will we still let people say that HAS is the underrated sphere? I, as an aspiring HAS, and if I become the HAS, I will get HAS sphere rid of the remark that it is one of the underrated sphere. And talking of why I am a potential fit for this position, I understand the dynamics of this sphere, I understand the flexible nature that it has, I understand the constant evaluation that it undergoes, And I think I possess all this required skill set, and that is why I think I'm a potential fit for this position.
Yeah, I don't believe that Hasphere is the underrated sphere among EC. Because it's a sphere which is most closely related with the students. And regarding on how to remove this perception, the first point of my vision is to ascend the sphere reputation, for which one initiative I am planning is to increase awareness among the freshers by conducting a Hasphere Fest.
So that marks an end to the Students' General Elections 24 Soapboxes. Thank you everyone. Thank you candidates. All the best.
So students.